Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Chase from the Prestige Crew, and I'm here with a little bit different of a video. I do have a game that I really enjoy playing and would love to give you guys tips and information on. And as you can see, the game is Raft. So Raft is a game where you start with nothing but a hook and a floating piece of wood in that case. Then you expand by collecting resources, exploring old bases, and even diving underwater. The beginning of the game can be very difficult, which I have learned from experience. So I'm going to give you my top 10 early game tips to help you succeed as early as possible. So let's get into it. Okay, here we are in game for tip number 1. So my first tip is play on easy mode. It's easy. There's easy mode for a reason. You're a beginner, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to play the game yet. This is what I did when I first started, and it really helped me out. So in easy mode, if you read the description, it says allows you to keep your items when you respawn, and hunger and thirst don't drain as fast. So this is very important. So materials in this game can be kind of hard to come by if you don't know what you're doing, and building a water purifier and food right away can be kind of difficult. So what I was doing, until I got a sustainable food source and a constant water supply, I would let myself die, which kind of seems like a cheaty way to do it, but it works, and it'd fill your hunger and thirst back up to half, and you keep all your items. So this really just seems like the best option for a start, because you don't lose food and water as fast, and you get to keep your items even if you died. So for my first tip, play on easy mode if you want to have an easy start. And we are jumping right into creative mode for tip number 2, because it makes my life a lot easier. Tip number 2 for me is focus on building first. So building a large raft will make the next steps of the game go tremendously faster. When you expand the width of your raft, you are increasing the chances of an item floating into your grab range. Your grab range obviously being right off the edge of the raft so you can grab items. I am putting building before food because, as I mentioned earlier, if you play in easy mode, which you should if you're a beginner, you will respawn with your items. So if you starve to death, oh well, you just respawn with all your items. So tip number 2 is build a wide raft so you can collect materials much faster and make your late game life much easier. I'm just doing a little bonus clip right now. It's not really a tip, it's kind of just something I want to tell you. If you're sitting here farming materials with your little grabber, so you have a nice little hook here, and you see a barrel floating by, make sure you turn your attention to that barrel. Barrels will give you scrap metal, which you're going to need later. They're going to give you wood, palm leaves. They give you everything, okay? So focus on the barrels because it'll make farming much more efficient. Okay, that's this little bonus clip. Now we're going to get into tip 3. For tip number 3, I'm jumping into my own personal survival, which this is actually where I started the game. Well, it's not where I started the game. First world, I jumped off my raft onto an island, then the island disappeared, and then it teleported me into the middle of the ocean, and I had nothing, so I just quit, okay? Now that that's the way, I want to get into tip number 3. So now, my tip number 3 is for food, okay? So you're going to need food, obviously, and a sustainable source is perfect. See, I started out normal with a fishing rod and a campfire, but I quickly learned that is not the way to do it, okay? So my tip right now, make 2 tin cans, okay? This is very important. And your water purifier, and then 2 crop plots is what I like to use, okay? So the reason I have 2 cans is to one to fill the fresh water out here and one to support it in again. So that makes it a lot easier. Okay, then you have these crop plots. Okay, I always have 2 of them because every crop you plant will double. So I plant 3 beets in here, it'll give me 6 in the end. See, now beets aren't the most efficient food source. If you look down at my food bar, it goes up by a little bit, and it gets smaller. Every time you eat a beet, it goes up by less. So you can cook them, which helps. And that should give me, see, it gives me a significantly larger amount. And now that I have a way to cook it and a way to grow it, I'm going to explain why I use crops. Fishing is like, it gives you more food, but I feel that it takes longer. So the only meat I like to eat is the shark meat you get from killing a shark, because that fills your food all the way. So I guess my main tip I'm trying to get here is make your water purifier once you have the materials and some crop plots, because I think fishing is not quite the way to go. It's just another step that takes a little extra time. So number 1 tip is build crop plots and a water purifier, and try to keep your food situation as simple as possible. And I am back for tip number 4, and this tip is gonna save you if you do not know this. So as you know, to get other items in the game, such as a better hook or a better axe, you need the blueprint, okay? See, now I always thought that you needed to go out and find the blueprint, and wherever you may find them. I don't even know where you find those because I don't use this anymore. So what you can actually do is you go into your research table and say I wanted to learn, I've already learned all these. Say I wanted to learn the oxygen bottle, and I had every material to make this oxygen bottle. Well, what I would do is say I need plastic, so I'll throw plastic in there and I'll research it. And then once you throw every item in there that you need, you can just learn the item. You'll flat out say learn right here. So this is very important because then you don't have to spend all your time looking for blueprints. Or if you want to do it that way, that's fine. Take the hard route. But my tip number 4 is if you need to learn an item, gather materials for it and you can learn it in the research table. And I am here for my last and final tip for a beginner to the game Raft. So as you can see with my base, there is an item collection system. So what you need to do is gather materials, like I said in the last tip, and learn the item collection in the, I always forget what this is called for some stupid reason, the research table. And once you learn those, what I like to do is I like to set my raft, it drifts a certain way from the sail, okay? And I'd like to set it on a certain drift angle. Now as you can see, that items come in this line. Okay, they come in right across there and they come in right across here. Now I'm not quite done with mine because I don't have the materials yet, but what you'll do is you'll come out to the far edge of where those items spawn in and you'll start your item collection system. And once you go all the way around and you have an item collection system on every square possible for an item to flow by, you'll get every item that flows by. Now this will really line you out to go for the end game. Oh, hold up, seagull. I've never killed one of those yet. It'll line you out for the end game because you'll have all the materials you need, you'll have the research table to learn them, and then you'll have a way of exploring. Another thing I need to say is you're going to have to go out and explore those shipwrecks and those weird bunker things to get end game items, but having all the materials will really line you out for the end game. So my last and final tip for a beginner to this game is make an item collection system that stretches all the way across the item spawn zone so you can get as many items as possible and you can just explore from then on. So I'm probably going to make another video for doing this in normal mode or hard mode, hard mode, because it's going to be a little different. And I guess I'll see you guys in that video, and thanks for watching this one. I'm Chase from Prestige Crew, and I will see you guys later.